Meanwhile, in another corner of the Triverse, just through the portal, lies the Mirrorverse, a realm where every shadow tells a story. As the spaceship Endeavour travels through the stars towards a mystery that had captivated humanity for years now, the Hollow Moon. At the controls, Captain Kean Blaze leads with a determination shaped by past losses. He stares into the darkness, his emotions a turbulent undercurrent to his calm exterior. Next to him, Atlas Zen, the chief scientist, is engrossed in her datapad, tapping rapidly as she ponders the secrets hidden by the moon. "The answers we seek," she says thoughtfully, "are within that mysterious sphere." Meanwhile, the crew's living area is filled with quiet anticipation. Engineer Milo Rin checks the ship's systems for any issues that might arise from the moon's unique challenges, his tools making gentle sounds in the stillness. Biologist Tara Quinn examines samples under her microscope, envisioning the strange new worlds they might reveal. Pilot Jax Harrow steers the ship with a confident hand, and communications specialist Nova Lyle adjusts their gear, keeping their connection to Earth clear and strong. As the spaceship Endeavour speeds through space, the crew's light-hearted chatter offers a brief escape from the enormity of their task. "Imagine if we encounter aliens. Do you think they'll be friendly?" jokes Harrow, looking around the mess hall with a smile. Rin, his eyes glued to his tablet, responds with his characteristic dry humor. "I'm more concerned about our landing. Given the moon's now active defenses, it's going to be like threading a needle in a hurricane, while blindfolded." As the moon grows larger in their viewport, the Endeavour nears the anomaly, a mysterious sphere that has baffled scientists for the past few years, its empty core beckoning the daring and the inquisitive. Captain Blaze's voice pierces the silence, firm and resolute. "This is it, team. The point of no return. Whatever secrets that silence holds, we'll face them together, for Earth and for the future." His crew nods in agreement, ready to confront whatever lies ahead as one. Zen, her eyes sparkling with the thrill of discovery, addresses her crewmates with conviction. "What we're about to do, venturing into the unknown, represents the peak of human bravery and curiosity. Remember, no matter what we encounter, it's our solidarity and determination that will define us." As the Endeavour begins its descent, casting its shadow across the moon's surface, the hidden defenses of the moon spring to life, targeting the intruding spaceship. The vessel trembles from the sudden onslaught, with alarms sounding urgently. "Brace for impact," commands Captain Blaze. Rin's fingers raced across the control panel, launching countermeasures in a frantic effort to protect the ship from the moon's aggressive response. Beside him, Harrow navigates with expert precision, his maneuvers as fluid and risky as if he were dancing with danger itself. Meanwhile, Quinn, caught between fear and awe, observes as the enigmatic secrets of the moon start to reveal themselves, transforming the once unremarkable celestial body into a world of alien wonders. The Endeavour withstands numerous hits from the moon's defenses, before it finally crashes down onto the lunar surface, coming to a jarring stop that ends their journey through space and starts their exploration into the unknown. In the profound silence that follows, the crew realizes they have landed. Despite the odds, the fact that they are still in one piece is a testament to the Endeavour's robust overbuild design thanks to Nova Heavy Industries building a flying tank of a spaceship. Heavy was built into its core DNA. The spacecraft lies on the moon's surface, its sleek hull now scarred from the battle and harsh descent. The crash site, marked by their formidable arrival, is eerily quiet except for the settling dust and a persistent mechanical hum in the background. Captain Blaze is the first to collect himself, his leadership crucial in this moment of uncertainty. "Report," he demands, his voice piercing the stillness. One by one, the crew members confirm their status. Zen, her eyes already scanning the moon's surface, eager for the secrets it holds, responds with resilient optimism. Systems down, but curiosity intact. Rin, scrutinizing the damaged ship, manages a wry smile despite the circumstances. "We're not going anywhere, but she held on and got us here safely," he comments, appreciating the ship's resilience in getting them to their destination. Harrow, always the pilot, feels a twinge of defeat as he surveys the cockpit. "Wasn't exactly the landing I had in mind," he admits, his gaze on the controls that now flicker weakly, barely holding on to power. Lyle's voice, calm and reassuring, cuts through the tension, offering a glimmer of hope. "Communications are down, but I've got a feeling we're not alone," she says. As they step out of the wreckage, the moon's surface reveals its stark, haunting beauty. A vast, gray expanse unfolds before them, leading to an unnatural structure. An entrance, clearly shaped by intelligent beings, invites them to venture into the mysterious darkness that lies beyond. The crew tread lightly on the lunar soil, the gravity of their situation as gentle as the moon's own pull. Ahead of them, the entrance stood like a silent invitation, or perhaps a challenge, its purpose and creators remaining a deep mystery that tantalized their minds like a lock needing a key. Breaking the quiet, Rin mused with a hint of humor. "Do you think they have a welcome mat, or is that too much to hope for?" Quinn, peering into the gloomy depths beyond the entrance, responded, "If they did, I doubt it said welcome humans. It's probably more like enter at your own risk." As they moved inside, a corridor stretched out before them, its walls adorned with symbols that shimmered faintly in the sparse light, forming a language forgotten by time. Zen, her fascination evident, traced the mysterious patterns with a gloved hand. "These markings, they're not random. They're telling a story, if only we could read it." The air inside was stale, a testament to the passage of time untouched, drawing the crew deeper into the lunar depths. As they moved forward, the mechanical hum intensified. Harrow, eyes locked on the path before them, whispered, "Feels like we're walking into the belly of the beast." Lyle, busy adjusting her equipment to chart their course, simply nodded in agreement. The corridors of the hollow moon stretched out endlessly, revealing more of its secrets as the Endeavor's crew delved further. Their lights threw long shadows against the ancient walls, and the heavy air seemed to carry whispers from ages past. It was deep within this labyrinth that they stumbled upon a relic from the previous mission, a beacon, its light weak yet determined, standing as a silent sentinel in the darkness. Captain Blaze cautiously approached the device, pausing a moment before pressing play. The chamber was suddenly filled with a crackle of static, followed by a voice, strained and distant. "Day 15. We were wrong. This place isn't what we thought. It's not a base. It's a listening post, and there is something with us in here." The recording sent chills through the crew, creating a haunting connection with those who had come before them. Zen, her mind buzzing with the implications, said, "They knew something we don't. We need to find out what." As the team ventured further, signs of the previous crew became more frequent. They found a journal with pages full of frantic scribbles, broken tools, a photograph of faces smiling with optimism, oblivious to their impending fate. Each item served as a breadcrumb, guiding them deeper into the corridors and deeper into the history of those who had once sought to unravel the moon's enigmas. Quinn, holding the photograph, murmured reflectively, "They look like us, full of hope and curiosity. It's chilling." Rin, examining the broken tools, added, "They were trying to survive, to adapt." The corridor led them into a vast, echoing chamber, its heart occupied by a terminal that emitted a faint glow. Lyle approached, her fingers expertly navigating the alien interface, coaxing it back to life. The screen flickered hesitantly before displaying a series of images, a visual log, disjointed and haunting. The crew watched in silence as the log showed the previous crew members, alive and exploring, then suddenly struggling against unseen adversaries. Initial scenes of camaraderie and discovery abruptly shifted to moments of desperation, revealing a hostile environment as the moon disclosed its darker secrets. Harrow, his voice soft yet laden with implication, broke the heavy quiet. "They were cut off, but it looks like they found something they weren't supposed to." The video ended abruptly with a final, unsettling message. "They are coming." Before the message could be completed, the screen went dark, the unfinished warning leaving a heavy tension hanging in the air. Who are they? Captain Blaze turned to face his crew, his expression resolute. "We need to find out what they discovered," he declared. "It's about finishing what they started." As the crew left the chamber, a heavy air of solemnity enveloped them, the ghosts of past explorers serving as silent witnesses to their expedition. Trying to break the weighty silence, Rin offered a quip. Well, on the bright side, we've got great company. With a tentative smile, Quinn replied, let's just hope we don't end up permanent residents. Venturing further into the depths of the alien structure, the Endeavor team unknowingly triggered the awakening of ancient machinery. Long dormant devices hummed to life around them. The very walls seemed to throb with a revitalized purpose. Captain Blaze sensed the subtle change in the environment, feeling the air thrum with electric tension. Stay sharp, he cautioned, his voice resonating against the cold metallic surfaces. It wasn't long before they encountered the mechanoids for the very first time. These automaton defenders, a terrifying mix of robots with humanoid traits, emerged from concealed niches. Their purpose was clear: to hunt and eliminate intruders. The crew's initial clash with these sentinels was a desperate flurry of evasion and defense, with Zen and Quinn hastily converting their scientific tools into makeshift weapons to repel the onslaught. Maybe we should have brought weapons, Zen remarked, her voice calm as she adjusted her makeshift plasma cutter, repurposing a piece of exploration equipment into a necessary weapon. Captain Blaze, concern etching his features, reflected on their initial approach. We came in peace, thinking that if we didn't bring weapons, everything would be fine. He now saw the flaw in that optimism. Not all situations can be resolved with peaceful intentions or logical solutions. Zen quickly retorted, at this rate, we will be leaving in pieces, though. As the crew pushed deeper, the challenges escalated. The mechanoids became more numerous, and the traps more cunning. They narrowly avoided a corridor lined with laser emitters, the beams cutting through the air just inches from their bodies. Lyle, revealing a surprising knack for tactical thinking, used a polished piece of mechanoid metal to mirror the beams, creating a temporary safe path. Guess all those puzzle games were good for something, she remarked with a hint of pride in her resourcefulness. In an atmosphere of unending vigilance, the crew discovered a central hub, a vast chamber whose ceiling vanished into darkness. Here, the mechanoids attacked with unyielding ferocity, swarming from every direction. Captain Blaze, leading courageously, engaged in a fierce battle with a particularly daunting mechanoid. Its limbs, sharp and relentless, whirled dangerously, aiming to strike him down. Skillfully dodging its attacks, Blaze used their improvised weapons to strike a critical blow to the robot's exposed core. The mechanoid collapsed, reduced to a heap of obsolete technology, no longer a menace. Panting, Blaze quipped, seems like they don't make them like they used to, his words lightening the mood while he masked the rush of adrenaline still surging through him. Indeed, it appeared that fortune was with them, as the ancient technology's long exposure to the lunar conditions had caused it to degrade, inadvertently giving the crew an edge in their precarious situation. The question was, how long had they been there inside the moon? Dormant, and for what reason? The chamber fell silent, revealing its purpose through holographic displays that activated as the crew approached. The holograms showcased images of the moon, Earth, and the vast cosmos, silently reflecting the grand ambitions of a long-forgotten civilization. Amidst the remnants of ancient defenses and echoes of a bygone race, the crew discovered their next clue, a star map pointing to unknown locations, each marked with familiar symbols. Rin, intrigued, leaned closer to the display and remarked, looks like we've got ourselves a treasure map. Just hope X marks the spot for something good. Quinn, cautious and thoughtful, quickly tempered the excitement. Or it's a map to more of these traps and mechanoids. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. With renewed determination, the crew of the Endeavor continued their journey through the shadowed corridors of the moon's core, where the air vibrated with the hum of ancient secrets. It was in one such dimly lit corridor, illuminated only by the soft glow of bioluminescent panels, that they stumbled upon a chamber unlike any before, a room pulsating with strange energy, dominated by a crystalline structure emitting an eerie light. Lyle, driven by her fearless curiosity, stepped forward towards the glowing crystal structure, her hand reaching out in wonder. Looks like we found the power source, she said, her voice filled with awe. However, the moment her fingers grazed the crystal's surface, a powerful surge of energy rippled through her, eliciting a scream that cut through bone as she was engulfed in blinding light. Her crewmates rushed to her aid, But the scene that unfolded was beyond their deepest fears. Lyle's body began to contort, her screams turning into unearthly cries as the crystal's energy intertwined with her very being, transforming her into a fusion of human and alien technology, a being more than just a cyborg, her eyes now shining with that same eerie light as the mechanoids they had encountered. Captain Blaze, weighed down by the responsibility of his role, cautiously reached out to the transformed Lyle, desperate to find a remnant of the friend they knew. "Lyle, can you hear me?" he called out, his voice firm yet carrying an undercurrent of the distress he felt. The entity that now faced Captain Blaze was simultaneously the Lyle they knew, and something entirely alien. Her voice, a complex array of harmonics, filled the chamber. "I am here, but not. I see everything. The moon, its purpose. We humans are not prepared for what is to come." Zen, grappling with the shock and implications, whispered, "She's become a conduit, a link between us and the moon's secrets. But at what cost?" Rin, his eyes never leaving Lyle's altered form, voiced his caution. "We need to be careful. The moon's not just a place. It's a test, one we might not be meant to cross." Quinn, her scientific mind wrestling with her concern for her colleague, offered a hopeful perspective. "If we can communicate with her, understand the changes, there might be a way to reverse it, or at least learn from it." Lyle, transformed into a mechanoid, now a cyborg-like entity, served as both a bridge to the moon's secrets and a reminder of the risks involved in their exploration. As the crew pressed on, with the altered Lyle silently accompanying them, they were constantly aware of the implications of their deep space mission. The moon, with its myriad traps and relentless guardians, posed a formidable challenge, but an even greater task was grappling with the ethical and existential costs of their insatiable curiosity. As they navigated through the alien corridors, Rin, ever the one to try and ease tensions, looked towards the entity Lyle had become and attempted a light-hearted comment. "Guess you're our secret weapon now," he said, hoping to inject some humor into the heavy atmosphere. In response, the cyborg form of Lyle offered a faint smile, a glimmer of her former humanity shining through the mechanical facade, reminding them all of the personal stakes entwined in their cosmic venture. The entity that Lyle had become moved silently among them. Her transformed state, which had initially unsettled the crew, became a crucial touchstone. Her unwavering dedication to the mission now served as a lifeline. Channeling the same resolve that a future leader like Commander Atlas Vale would have shown, Atlas Zen rallied her crew with a call to resilience that hinted at their deep, shared lineage they would bear against the mechanoids. "We can't let it break us," she declared, her voice cutting through the fog of fear that had enveloped them. "We have to hold on to what we know is true." Her words served as a beacon, grounding them and reminding them of their strength and purpose amidst the uncertainty. Strengthened by Zen's words, the crew banded together, drawing strength from their shared resolve and the unexpected steadiness of the cyborg Lyle. Days later, deep within the heart of the hollow moon, the crew of the Endeavor stood at the threshold of a revelation that promised to redefine their understanding of their place in the cosmos. The journey that had brought them here, fraught with traps, mechanoids, and transformations, now culminated in a chamber so vast it seemed to contain the universe itself, preparing them to face whatever profound truths lay waiting. This chamber was awe-inspiring, its walls lined with panels of shimmering light that displayed star systems and galaxies with breathtaking clarity. At the center of this grand room, a device of unimaginable complexity pulsed with a soft light, revealing its purpose to those who had dared to uncover the moon's secrets. As Lyle stepped into the room, she uttered a single word: mechanoids, hinting at the origins or nature of the technology surrounding them. "This is it then, whatever mechanoids mean," Atlas Zen whispered, her voice thick with awe. The heart of the moon, the archive of a civilization that watched the stars long before humanity even looked up from Earth. As they drew closer to the central device, it seemed to sense Lyle's presence and came to life. Holograms flickered into existence around them, displaying epic narratives of civilizations that rose and fell, scenes of cosmic births and deaths. It was a vast record of the cosmos, observed and meticulously preserved by entities whose existence spanned across eons, offering the crew a glimpse into the timeless watch kept by these ancient observers. But every single time they fell to the might of these mechanical beings called the mechanoids. Eerily similar to the guardians they had come across on this hollow moon, they were always a precursor to the planet's doom. Captain Blaze, profoundly affected by the scale of their discovery, murmured, "These watchers don't seem to come in peace. We're witnesses to the legacy of these watchers. They're the destruction of all life as we know it." The crew was struck by a sense of their own insignificance as they stood before the evidence of such ancient entities. Their mission, their individual lives, and even the Earth itself seemed like mere flickers against the enduring expanse of the cosmos. The moon, whether acting as a cosmic recorder or a harbinger of destruction, documented civilizations rising to the stars only to be extinguished, leaving behind nothing but these records. Rin, an engineer who had always found solace in the physical and the fixable, now found himself confronting the elusive vastness of time and space. With a seriousness that was uncharacteristic, he reflected aloud, "Makes you wonder what mark we'll leave behind." His words echoed a newfound contemplation of humanity's place in the universe and the legacy it might one day leave. Quinn, her mind swirling with the ramifications for her field of study, couldn't help but marvel. Think of everything they must have witnessed, the life forms that have existed, and here we are, just one more species under their observation. The device then shifted its display to present them with a map, not of distant stars, but of Earth itself, marked with the same symbols they had encountered throughout the moon. It were strategic locations pointing them to places on their home planet, of yet unknown importance. Harrow felt a surge of excitement cut through the solemnity of their discovery. "Looks like we've got our next destinations mapped out." The cyborg entity, once known as Lyle, now deeply intertwined with the moon's mysteries, resonated with the chamber's energy. "We are part of it now," she conveyed. As the crew stood within the ancient chamber, absorbing its revelations, they realized that their journey was far from over. The mechanoids, they learned, posed a universal threat to all living beings. Now, with the secrets of the moon's core unveiled, they prepared to return to Earth. They were to be messengers bearing a profound truth about the cosmos and humanity's place within it. More urgently, they carried a warning. The mechanoids were not a distant possibility, but an impending certainty. Humanity needed to prepare, not to become just another footnote recorded by them, but to ready themselves for what was to come. As the crew of the Endeavour made preparations to depart the moon, it had one final secret to disclose, a confrontation with the moon's ultimate guardian. This formidable entity emerged from the shadows as though roused from a long dormancy. The crew couldn't help but wonder, had this entity been operating the cosmic surveillance all along? Was the purpose of this surveillance to determine the precise moment when humanity was ripe for culling? The Guardian, designed for a single, unwavering purpose, to safeguard the secrets at all costs, possessed eyes, or what seemed to serve as eyes, that glowed with an alien intelligence. It focused on the crew with an intensity that felt unsettlingly personal. Captain Blaze stepped forward to meet this monumental challenge. Despite the turmoil swirling within him, his voice was firm and clear. "We're not here to destroy," he declared. "We seek to understand." His stance was one of peace, but underscored with the resolute courage needed to face such a formidable protector of the moon's mysteries. The Guardian, not yet fully operational, responded not with words but with a beam of sheer power that punched a hole through the chamber wall, its message unequivocal. There would be no negotiation, no mutual understanding. This confrontation was a trial by fire, testing their resolve and their entitlement to the moon's secrets. Rin, ever the pragmatist, quickly assessed their dire situation. "Well, diplomacy's out. Looks like we're doing this the hard way," he remarked. Zen, her mind grappling with the gravity of their situation, realized the full scope of the threat. "It's the Watcher," she whispered, recognition dawning on her. "The final barrier between us and becoming a spacefaring species." She understood all too well that these mechanized sentinels were designed to extinguish any species that might pose a threat, snuffing them out just as they began to venture into the cosmos. The ensuing battle was starkly one-sided, a desperate dance of defiance against overwhelming odds. Quinn, leveraging her scientific expertise, targeted the Guardian's weak points, hoping to find and exploit any vulnerabilities. Her attacks, a blend of scientific ingenuity and raw survival instinct, struck with precision. Yet each successful hit seemed to only temporarily stagger the massive Guardian, underscoring the enormity of the challenge they faced. Harrow, adeptly navigating through the debris and the Guardian's relentless attacks, found himself relying on every bit of his pilot's reflexes, now tested to their limits on solid ground rather than in the cockpit. He narrowly dodged a beam of energy so powerful it sliced the room in half. Amidst this chaos, the entity that was once Lyle moved with a distinct purpose, her transformation having granted her a deep insight into the Guardian's mechanics. She interfaced with the moon's ancient technology, striving to slow the Guardian's relentless assault. Her actions were driven by a desire to protect her crew, the people she still considered her family, providing them a crucial fighting chance against the formidable foe. The Guardian, however, was relentless in its adaptation, countering each strategy the crew employed and growing more formidable by the second. Its attacks became sharper, more desperate, as if it too understood the high stakes of their confrontation. In this fierce clash, the crew's very humanity, marked by their fear, hope, and unyielding determination to safeguard one another, emerged both as a vulnerability and a profound strength. Their collective human spirit, driven by a desperate desire to survive and protect, fueled their resistance against an overwhelming adversary. Amidst the chaos of battle, Zen experienced a moment of startling clarity. It's not just protecting the moon, she realized aloud. It's testing us, to see how we fare fighting their kind. With this new insight, the crew quickly shifted their strategy. Realizing that their weapons were ineffective and that a single hit could be fatal, they focused on evading and escaping rather than confronting the Guardian directly. The battle reached its climax as Captain Blaze, recognizing the futility of their current approach, called for a tactical retreat. They might lose this particular fight, but it was crucial that humanity learned what they had uncovered about the moon and its watchers. As they retreated, the crew of the Endeavour found themselves at a critical juncture. The path ahead, once overshadowed by the imminent threat of annihilation, now stretched clearly before them. Yet the moon's secrets were not relinquished easily, and it was during this tense moment of precarious victory that Rin, the engineer known for his pragmatism and wit, devised a plan involving a profound sacrifice. His idea aimed to ensure their survival and the continuation of their mission to inform Earth about the looming extraterrestrial threat. The device at the core of the moon, a confluence of ancient technology and cosmic power, was crucial to the success of their mission. However, its defenses were impressively robust, specifically engineered to deter any attempts to uncover the secrets of the Watchers. Rin grasped the magnitude of what needed to be done to deactivate these formidable defenses. The solution required a direct, physical interaction with the moon's machinery, a union of human intellect and alien technology. He knew that Lyle, in her transformed state, was uniquely capable of merging with this technology due to her cyborg enhancements. "I've got an idea," Rin said, his voice steady, hiding the gravity of the sacrifice required. "But it's a one-way trip. The system needs a manual override, someone to negotiate with it directly, and another to fuse with it." His gaze rested on Lyle, or what was left of her after her transformation. Lyle, understanding the full extent of what was being asked of her, nodded in agreement. Her acknowledgement was calm, informed by the knowledge of what had to be done. She was ready to make the ultimate sacrifice, seeing it as the necessary final step to aid her crew and potentially benefit humanity. Captain Blaze, deeply troubled by the gravity of Rin's proposal, voiced his concerns firmly. "There has to be another way. We don't sacrifice crew members. We find solutions that don't require anyone to be left behind." Rin, with a smile tinged with both resignation and determination, responded, "Captain, we're standing on a relic that's older than humanity's first steps out of the caves. Sometimes the solution is the sacrifice. We're not being left behind. We are merely leading the way." His words reflected a profound acceptance of the role he and those that carried his family name might play in the greater narrative of human exploration. The crew's objections were passionate and numerous, their bond forged in the crucible of shared trials, making the thought of sacrificing one of their own nearly unbearable. Yet, beneath their protests was a reluctant acknowledgement that Rin's plan might be their surest path to uncovering the secrets they had fought so hard to reach. A grim realization that their best chance came at a steep price. Atlas Zen, her voice softened by the weight of emotion, finally spoke up. Your brilliance has always been in seeing the solutions no one else could. But we'll find another way. Her words echoed the crew's collective resolve to protect their own, striving to find an alternative that could save their mission without the heartbreaking cost of a sacrifice. Rin remained resolute in his conviction. Look, we're talking about unlocking the secrets of the universe here, about continuing the legacy of those who've watched since the dawn of time. If I can help bridge the gap, then it's worth it. Rin didn't know it yet, but from this day forward, his family's fate would be forever intertwined with the Triverse and the mechanoids. The crew quickly set to work, making the necessary preparations to integrate Lyle into the moon's core system. As her consciousness began to merge with the ancient technology, Lyle managed to blend her characteristic wit with a profound truth in her final words to her friends. Don't forget to defrag me every now and then, okay? The effect of her integration was immediate. The moon's once insurmountable defenses began to withdraw, recognizing Lyle not as an intruder, but as an intrinsic part of itself. The way to the deepest secrets the moon held was now clear. As the crew retreated, leaving a part of their own behind, the mood was somber, yet determined. They fully grasped the magnitude of their sacrifice and the weight of the knowledge they aimed to return with to Earth. In the heavy silence that followed, Harrow found words to break it, reflecting on their lost members. They were the best of us, always looking ahead, always seeing the bigger picture. Quinn, with tears in her eyes, agreed. They are part of the moon now, part of its story and ours. We'll make sure their sacrifice means something. With the moon's defenses now silent, the Endeavour crew faced the final stretch of their journey back to Earth, each step shadowed by the sacrifices that had opened their path. The silence that once filled the hollow moon now resonated within them, carrying the echo of Rin's selfless act and Lyle's transformation into something beyond human comprehension. The return to the Endeavour's landing site was a somber march. The ship, though battered, stood defiantly as their escape vessel from the depths of darkness back to the light of home, assuming they could manage to launch it from the moon's grip. Captain Blaze, whose leadership had been tested more deeply than ever before, steered his crew with a quiet, unwavering strength. They gave us this chance, he said, his voice heavy with the burdens of command and loss. We honor them by completing this mission, by sharing what we've learned. Atlas Zen, her mind still reeling with the vast and strange new knowledge they had unearthed, nodded in solemn agreement. As they prepared the damaged Endeavour for takeoff, Harrow took his place at the controls, the responsibility of piloting them home now resting solely on his shoulders. I used to think flying was about pushing boundaries, about the thrill, he reflected, his hands steady at the helm despite the emotional and physical turmoil. Now, I see it's also about bringing us back, about the journey home. Please hold together, Endeavour. As if sensing its critical role, the Endeavour creaked and groaned under the stress of its damages. Yet, thanks to the moon's low gravity and with the automated defenses no longer a threat, the ship managed to lift off. It limped through space on its way back to Earth. Each member of the team was acutely aware of the ship's symbolic burden, carrying not just them, but also the legacy of their fallen comrades back home. Quinn, reflecting on their harrowing yet transformative journey, shared her thoughts with her crewmates. We encountered wonders and horrors alike, she mused, but it's the wonders that will stay with me, the proof that life, in all its forms, finds a way. The entity that had once been Lyle, now forever a conduit between humanity and the alien technology of the moon, continued to interact with the Endeavour. She sent advanced schematics needed for the journey home and optimized what remained of the ship, offering her own farewell to the place that had redefined her existence. I am more than I was, thanks to you all. Our journey doesn't end here. It expands outward, into the stars. I will be here forever watching you, and when the mechanoids show up, I will be ready. she communicated, her voice a blend of human emotion and alien precision. Rin, ever the pragmatic engineer, responded with a quip aimed at lightening the mood while acknowledging their ongoing reliance on Lyle's newfound capabilities. "Now let's get these defenses under human control, Lyle, before that Guardian decides to show up and kill me." This exchange marked their final communication with Rin and Lyle, a poignant moment of farewell mixed with the promise of continued vigilance. As the Endeavour hurtled through the void back to Earth, the crew faced the daunting task of recounting their discoveries and justifying the heavy costs. The data they carried, along with the samples and recordings, transcended mere scientific curiosity. They represented beacons of hope and were testaments to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of cosmic dread, humanity could rise, adapt, and aspire to greater understanding. As Earth appeared, a radiant blue jewel floating in the vast emptiness of space, the crew of the Endeavour shared a moment of bittersweet triumph. They had journeyed into the unknown, confronted the guardians of the hollow moon, and had now returned, bearing the scars of loss, but also carrying the indelible strength forged from their shared ordeal. "The world won't be the same for us," Captain Blaze remarked, his eyes fixed on the approaching planet. "But maybe, just maybe, we can use what we've learned to make it better." The landing, though fraught with difficulty, offered a profound sense of catharsis. The Endeavour touched down on familiar terrain, under the watchful eyes of a world eager to learn of their exploits. The crew disembarked not merely as the individuals who had ventured forth, but as pioneers of a new age, the age of the mechanoids. In the ensuing days, as they shared their incredible saga with a captivated global audience, the crew members were hailed as heroes. The profound losses, Rin's ultimate sacrifice and Lyle's transformation, were deeply felt, yet these were also held up as poignant reminders of the costs associated with venturing beyond our known limits, of the sacrifices made in the relentless pursuit of knowledge and exploration. Their story, marked by courage and curiosity, inspired a renewed sense of possibility about what humanity could achieve in the cosmos. Their story, woven from threads of courage, wonder, and loss, would stand as a beacon for future generations. It encouraged them to gaze at the stars not with trepidation, but with the recognition that humanity's quest for understanding knows no bounds. The return from the shadowy depths of the moon marked more than just a journey back to the light. It illuminated a path forward into the vast, uncharted territories of the cosmos, propelled by the indomitable resilience of the human spirit. Meanwhile, in a remote corner of the galaxy, the repercussions of their lunar encounter resonated far beyond Earth's orbit. A mechanoid hive cluster, aware of the events that had unfolded on the moon, began its own preparations. This distant collective, a network of cold intelligence and calculated purpose, marked the human achievements and the disruptions they caused in the cosmic order. As humanity celebrated its heroes and mourned its losses, these otherworldly destroyers of the universe as we know it set in motion plans of their own, hinting at future encounters that would once again test the mettle of human explorers across the stars. The vast reaches of space have always inspired both awe and fear. For Captain Kean Blaze, space was more than a mere setting. It was a challenge to be met, a puzzle to solve, and a stark reminder of how fragile humans really are. His current ship, the Aurora, insisted to be flown this time by Endeavour's pilot Jax Harrow, was a sleek and powerful military troop carrier built for long-distance flight. Though it could reach space on its own, it wasn't quite a full-fledged spacecraft. Today, it sat on the launch pad, with Harrow going over their flight path, its engines purring with restrained energy, as if it were eager to launch its crew into the unknown. Captain Blaze walked through the Aurora with a determined stride, his boots ringing out on the metallic floors of the ship. Each step brought him closer to the briefing room where his team waited, each member carefully selected for their expertise, bravery, and in some cases, their capacity to withstand extreme situations. Their upcoming mission to Antarctica was like no other, triggered by the eerie outcome of a previous expedition that had met a tragic ending on the hollow moon. The stories of that ill-fated journey, swallowed by the lunar emptiness and its robotic sentinels, still haunted the corridors of space agencies across the globe. As Captain Blaze stepped into the briefing room, the intense, focused gazes of his team met him. Atlas Zen, she was now the lead scientist known for her expertise in mechanoid technology, acknowledged him with a nod. Her insights were vital, The mysterious structures hidden beneath the ice of Antarctica harbored secrets that perhaps only she could decipher. Beside her stood a group of Marines, their expressions as stern and steadfast as the harsh environment they were preparing to confront. These Marines, rigorously trained and fiercely loyal, were valued by Blaze not just for their skills, but for their ability to adapt to unforeseen challenges. "Team," Blaze began, his voice calm and resolute. "Beneath the ice lies more than remnants of alien architecture. It represents the perils we confront in our mission to safeguard humanity's future." He paused, allowing his words to resonate. The mechanoids that guarded the Hollow Moon's secret were only the beginning. What we are about to encounter remains veiled in mystery, but I am certain we will face trials that will test our very resolve, he added firmly, and this time we are armed and ready. Atlas Zen, ever the scientist, quickly brought the discussion back to the mission's core. The antimatter reactor we're after could change everything we know about energy. However, the base we're targeting is alien in origin. One of the Marines, a sergeant whose scars spoke volumes of his combat experiences, grinned slightly. "Sounds like my kind of mission," he said. "Aliens, huh? That's new," chimed in the youngest Marine, his voice tinged with eagerness and anticipation. Captain Blaze couldn't help but smile back at his team's mix of seriousness and enthusiasm. This combination of traits had carried them successfully through several missions before. "Firepower and ingenuity will indeed be our tools," he affirmed. "But let's not forget, our main objective is to deactivate the base's defenses. We can't let the mechanoids gain a stronghold on our planet. While they are still dormant, we strike. We do this in memory of those who didn't return from the moon. We do this for Earth." As the briefing wrapped up, a palpable sense of determination enveloped the team. They scattered to finalize their preparations, each member absorbed in their own thoughts, balancing their hopes against their fears. Captain Blaze allowed himself a quiet moment, gazing out through the nearest viewport at Earth. Suspended in the vast void, the planet appeared as a radiant orb of blues and greens, veiled in swirls of white clouds, a mute testament to what they were striving to protect. Their mission was not just about safeguarding humanity, but ensuring its flourishing future, reaching beyond the stars, not for conquest, but for enlightenment. The Aurora began its descent shortly after, leaving the safe confines of Earth's orbit to confront the chilling solitude of Antarctica. As the continent drew closer, appearing as an endless blanket of white below them, Blaze watched intently. What lay hidden beneath that serene surface were secrets ancient and perhaps perilous. With this descent, they were stepping into an abyss, a voyage into the unknown. For Blaze and his crew, there was no turning back. The only path forward lay through the daunting shadows that awaited them beneath the ice. As the Aurora settled onto the icy plains of Antarctica, Captain Blaze led his team off the craft, their steps crunching in the snow, shattering the eerie silence that ruled this frozen desert. Their breaths hung in the frigid air, swirling like spectral reminders of explorers who had come before them. Ahead, their goal loomed, veiled in mystery and safeguarded by the harsh elements. Zen, bundled in her insulated gear, was equipped with a suite of instruments designed to scan the ice for hidden anomalies. The Marines, with their gazes vigilant for any potential threats from the snow-blanketed ground or the skies above, a reflex honed from countless battles, prepared for whatever might come. "Keep your eyes on the prize, team," Blaze instructed, his voice a clear, rallying call in the biting cold. "Remember, what we're looking for isn't just lying on the surface waiting for us. Zen, you're up." Zen nodded, her equipment coming to life with a chorus of beeps and buzzes as she fine-tuned its settings. "This alien technology is beyond anything we've encountered," she said with a mix of awe and determination in her voice. "But if my calculations are right, we're standing right above what could be the discovery of the century." As they were standing there, waiting on Zen, the sergeant, always ready with a quip to lighten the mood, looked over at the youngest Marine. "Ever think you'd be spending your deployment digging through snow looking for alien doorbells?" he teased. The young Marine let out a chuckle, his breath puffing out into the cold air. "Beats getting shot at," he replied with a grin. "Besides, who knows? Maybe we'll find Santa's workshop down there." Their lighthearted banter was abruptly cut off by a sharp, piercing beep from Zen's equipment. "Here," she exclaimed. "The readings are off the charts. The entrance has to be here, under the ice." Captain Blaze immediately ordered the team to stop. "All right, let's uncover our doorway to the unknown. Be ready for anything." With the expertise and precision that only comes from countless missions, the team set to work, their tools efficiently carving through the thick ice. Hours ticked by, under the almost static sun hanging low in the sky, their constant companion in this remote land. The cold began to penetrate deep, chilling them to the core, when suddenly, the ice yielded, revealing an imposing structure beneath, a massive door adorned with the same symbols they found on the moon, hinting at secrets waiting in the shadows below. Captain Blaze looked over the imposing door, his mind buzzing with the endless possibilities of what secrets might lie behind it. "Zen, any idea how to open this?" Before Zen could offer any theories, a faint humming began to fill the silent expanse around them, gradually intensifying until it transformed into a vibration beneath their feet. The team instinctively took defensive positions, weapons at the ready. However, Blaze raised his hand to halt them. "Wait, it's not an attack." As he spoke, the door started to shift. Segments of it moved with a mechanical precision, slowly revealing a dark corridor that stretched into the unknown. Blaze realized that their presence hadn't triggered the door. It was something else, something more distant. "It's a data burst." "From the moon," Zen announced, her device picking up and decoding the incoming signals. "The base's defenses recognized it, not us. We're being invited in." Her voice softened, a hint of emotion threading through. "I guess it's Rin and Lyle. They're still up there on the moon, looking out for us." The revelation filled the air with a blend of excitement and trepidation. The Marines eased up a bit, though their hands stayed close to their weapons. The sergeant, ever ready with a light remark, quipped, "Well, let's not keep them waiting." With a nod from Blaze, the team moved forward, crossing the threshold into the alien base. The corridor stretched out before them, illuminated by a soft, otherworldly glow that seemed to radiate from the walls themselves. They advanced cautiously, fully aware that with each step, they delved deeper into realms beyond human comprehension. As the alien door sealed shut behind them, wrapping the team in an oppressive silence, Blaze took the lead, pushing further into the depths of the unknown. The corridor was lined with devices and machinery, their designs and functions as mysterious as the civilization that had crafted them. The air was charged with the scent of ozone, and the gentle hum of active, unseen mechanisms reverberated around them, signaling that the heart of the base was still very much alive. Zen navigated through the alien base with a palpable sense of wonder, her eyes constantly shifting between the readings on her scanner and the intricate alien technology that adorned the walls. These devices, they're not just advanced, they're beyond anything we've ever conceived. The energy signatures alone are off the charts, she marveled, her voice filled with awe and curiosity. The sergeant, however, maintained a vigilant posture, his rifle always at the ready, eyes fixed on the path ahead. "Let's just hope none of this tech decides to wake up and introduce itself," he muttered, half joking but clearly on edge. Captain Blaze was momentarily lost in his thoughts, deeply moved by the realization that they were walking through the remnants of a civilization capable of such profound technological wonders. It was both thrilling and humbling, and as they moved deeper into the darkness, the mysteries that humanity had long chased seemed ever closer. Yet, with each step, the gravity of their mission seemed to weigh more heavily upon them. As they ventured further, the architecture of the base began to shift. The sleek, seamless walls transitioned to a more industrial aesthetic, where metal fused with stone in a design that seemed both deliberate and functional. It was then that they encountered the first true horror of their mission, a sight that abruptly halted their advance and reminded them of the dangers lurking in this mechanoid base. In a vast chamber bathed in a pulsating light that seemed to imbue the space with a sinister vitality, they discovered what could only be described as the remnants of chilling experiments. Human forms, or what once might have been human, were grotesquely merged with mechanical parts. Some were encased in tubes filled with a strange, opaque fluid, their bodies suspended in what looked like eternal agony. Others were integrated directly into the walls, their limbs replaced by tangles of cables, their faces eternally contorted in silent screams. A sharp gasp broke from Zen's lips, her typical composure shattered by the horrific scene unfolding before them. This is what they are capable of? Turning life into mere components? She stammered, her voice a mix of horror and disbelief. Captain Blaze felt a chill that transcended the icy temperatures of Antarctica. This stark revelation was the grim reality of their mission, exposed in the most brutal manner possible. "We knew we might find horrors," he said solemnly, his voice barely above a whisper. "But this is beyond what any of us could have prepared for." The gravity of their discovery weighed heavily on them all, as they stood in the haunting glow of the chamber, confronted with the dark potential of unchecked technological advancement. The youngest Marine, his face drained of color, turned away, unable to bear the sight. "How could anyone do this? It's like they had no regard for life at all," he muttered, his voice trembling with emotion. "It's not just about life," Zen responded, her voice barely a whisper, heavy with the weight of their grim discovery. "It's about what you can do with it. To them, we're not beings, we're just materials. For what purpose, though, I can't say." The sergeant stepped forward, his demeanor hardening with resolve. "Purpose or not, we've got a mission to complete. Let's not forget why we're here," he said firmly, rallying the team with his determined gaze. Captain Blaze nodded, feeling the burden of command and the gravity of their discovery. "We honor these victims by completing our mission," he declared. "We shut this place down, and we make sure no one else suffers the same fate." As they moved through the chamber, the team's determination was renewed. Yet they could not shake the haunting feeling of the eyes of the past watching them. Each step deeper into the base was a step further into the heart of darkness, a stark reminder of the fine line between discovery and desecration. The silent plea from the grotesque forms they had just witnessed haunted them profoundly. As the team left the chamber, the weight of what they had seen hung heavily upon them, and they knew that greater horrors might yet lie ahead. Nonetheless, they pressed forward, driven by a deep-seated desire to rectify the grievous wrongs they had uncovered. Their path, only intermittently illuminated by the glow of strange devices, grew increasingly ominous with each step they took. Then a low, menacing hum began to fill the corridor ahead. It quickly escalated into a cacophony of mechanical whirs and clicks, much like the harrowing sounds that had heralded danger on the hollow moon. From the shadows, sleek and deadly shapes emerged. Flesh and mechanical components intertwined. Mechanoids, nightmarish constructs of alien engineering with lethal intent. Blaze raised his hand, signaling his team to halt. "Positions," he whispered, his voice a calm yet firm command. The Marines swiftly took cover behind anything the corridor provided, their weapons aimed at the advancing figures. Zen, always driven by her scientific curiosity, couldn't help but be captivated by the technology before them, even as danger loomed. "Positron weapons," she noted, her eyes fixated on the glowing apertures on the mechanoid's arms. "Incredibly advanced. A single shot could—" Before she could finish, a beam ripped through the air, leaving a smoking crater in the wall beside them. The sheer power of the weapons was unmistakable. "Focus!" Blaze interjected sharply, pulling Zen back from her fascination with the enemy's armaments. "We can't match their firepower, but we can outthink them." The sergeant, never one to back down from a challenge, grinned in the face of the looming threat. "Always wanted to see how these alien toys stack up against good old human ingenuity." As the mechanoids continued their efficient, synchronized advance, Blaze quickly formulated a strategy, leveraging their agility and the element of surprise. "Draw them in," he commanded his team. "Use the corridors to our advantage." His plan was clear: to turn the base's intricate layout into a tactical benefit, outmaneuvering their technologically superior foes with swift, smart movements. The team executed Blaze's strategy with practiced ease, weaving between covers and leading the mechanoids into more confined spaces where their numbers and overwhelming firepower could be mitigated. The base itself seemed almost to conspire against them, with doors sealing unexpectedly, but Blaze's quick thinking kept them a step ahead in the treacherous game of cat and mouse. As they engaged the mechanoids in these tighter quarters, focusing their fire on a single enemy to expose vulnerabilities in the mechanoid's structure, swiftly striking the weak points. This methodical approach allowed them to slowly but effectively chip away at their adversaries. The battle stretched every member of the team to their limits. Yet, under Blaze's strategic leadership and driven by their collective courage, they began to turn the tide. They leveraged every tactical advantage, utilizing explosives and executing a series of effective hit-and-run attacks to ambush their mechanical pursuers. As the final mechanoid collapsed, its positron weapon emitting a final fading whine, the team regrouped. They were breathing heavily, their bodies pumped with adrenaline, but they were alive. The victory was theirs, but the understanding that this skirmish was merely an introduction to the dangers the base concealed. Blaze looked over his team, noting the scorch marks in their armor from near misses. "We keep moving," he stated. "What we've seen here, what we've faced, it's just the beginning. But we've shown we can adapt, we can survive. We'll shut this place down, end this nightmare." The encounter with the mechanoid had left a profound impact on Blaze and his team, both physically and emotionally. The scars they bore were not just from the battle, but from the realization of the immense challenges that lay ahead. Yet, this ordeal had also steeled their resolve, bonding them closer as a unit determined to see their daunting mission through to the end. In the consuming darkness of the alien base, and as she rounded a corner with her team in front, Zen found herself suddenly alone, her heart pounding as the oppressive silence closed in around her. The only sounds were the distant, eerie echoes of the base's mechanical innards at work. She activated her scanner, the device's soft glow offering a small beacon of comfort in the overwhelming gloom. "Come on, Atlas," she whispered to herself, trying to steady her nerves. "You've faced worse than an alien phenomenon." Meanwhile, Blaze and the sergeant found themselves similarly isolated from the rest of their team, their situation precarious, but not hopeless. "We need to regroup," Blaze declared, his eyes scanning their unfamiliar surroundings with the sharp focus of a seasoned leader. "The base is playing with us, but it won't win." The sergeant nodded, his demeanor as firm and resolute as ever. "Just another day at the office, sir," he responded with a wry grin. "This whatever it is, can't keep us apart for long." His confidence, unwavering even in the face of such alien trickery, bolstered Blaze's own resolve as they prepared to find their way back to their team. Elsewhere, in the labyrinth of the alien base, the youngest Marine navigated the twisting corridors, his weapon held tightly in his grip. The sense of isolation bore down on him, making the shadows appear as if they moved on their own. Every creak and whisper of the structure heightened his tension, his imagination filling the dark with unseen threats. Despite the growing fear, he pushed forward, determined to not let the terror take hold. Zen, fueled by her unquenched scientific curiosity, studied the phenomenon intensely. Meanwhile, Blaze and the sergeant utilized their skills to forge a path, marking their route and keeping an eye out for any sign of their scattered teammates. Eventually, the paths of the team members converged, leading them back to one another. Zen addressed the team, grappling with the extraordinary implications of their surroundings. "The base, it's like it's not entirely anchored in our reality. It could be intertwined with something else, possibly at a quantum level. I'm not even sure we're on Earth anymore," she explained, her voice tinged with both wonder and trepidation. The exotic particle readings were off the charts, leading her to theorize, this might actually be a quantum teleporter designed for long-distance travel. Blaze quickly cut in, decisively. "Enough said. Once we're done here, we destroy it. We can't risk mechanoids using this to show up right on our doorstep." Their reunion, while tense under the circumstances of what just happened, was a profound relief. Together, their strength was magnified, bolstering each of them with renewed determination. With a collective resolve, they moved forward, leaving the quantum zone behind, yet aware that the heart of the base and its darkest secrets still lay ahead. In the mysterious and labyrinthine corridors of the alien base, laden with the echoes of its dark history, Captain Blaze and his crew reached a massive room crucial to the reactor's operation. The scene was both breathtaking and horrifying. The technology was astonishing, a structure of intricate designs pulsating with energy, casting a surreal glow throughout the space. Yet it was the guardians of the chamber that evoked a stunned reaction from the team. These guardians were once human, now transformed into something beyond recognition, no longer human, but not quite mechanoid yet. Their bodies were grotesquely fused with wires and pipes, their flesh interwoven into the base's living network of circuits. They stood as tragic sentinels, trapped in a ceaseless agony. Zen spoke softly, her voice reflecting the shock and revulsion they all felt. This is beyond inhumane. It's as if they've been consumed by the base, made into part of its defenses. As the transformed humans detected the presence of the team, they began to awaken, their movements strained and eerie as they disconnected from the machines. What ensued was a fierce onslaught, the transformed humans charging with a brutality that contrasted starkly with their harrowing appearances. Caught between his duty to protect and his compassion, Captain Blaze issued urgent commands, focusing on minimizing harm. Use non-lethal force, aim for the cables. We need to disable them, not destroy them. Before the tension in his words could dissipate, a Marine was impaled by a cable, eliciting a scream of excruciating pain, the likes of which they had never heard. The sergeant, drawing on his depth of training and experience, quickly organized a strategic withdrawal. He rallied the Marines, guiding them to defend themselves effectively while avoiding lethal measures. "Keep it tight! Watch each other's backs!" he yelled, emphasizing teamwork and vigilance in the chaotic retreat. In the thick of a harrowing battle, chaos swirling around him, the youngest Marine summoned a strength he never knew he possessed. "We're not leaving anyone behind," he shouted, his voice cutting through the cacophony of gunfire and electrical bursts as he pulled his injured comrade to safety. Meanwhile, Zen, her focus intense, worked tirelessly at a console. Amidst the eerie wails of the reactor's defenders, she sought a way to disable them without inflicting more pain, her expression a mask of deep concentration. Blaze, a steadfast beacon of leadership amidst the turmoil, stood next to her. His commands, both clear and inspiring, resonated above the din as he led and supported his team. "Zen, status?" Blaze called out, his voice firm as he fired a shot at an approaching protector. "Almost there," Zen responded, her concentration ironclad amidst the chaos. Seconds later, her voice broke through again, vibrant with success. "Got it. I've sent a command to release them from the base's control." As Zen's triumphant words filled the chamber, the protectors' actions started to falter, their movements becoming sluggish and uncoordinated. One by one, they fell, their eyes dimming, yet reflecting a trace of peace that had been missing before. Gathered around Zen, the team shared a moment of profound relief, visibly worn but united. Blaze looked over the chamber, his gaze heavy with the toll of their ordeal. "We came here to find a solution, not to fight those who've suffered enough. Let's finish what we came for and ensure their sacrifices weren't in vain," he said, his voice imbued with resolve and compassion. Together, they focused on the reactor, humanity's beacon of hope, and the very reason for their perilous mission inside the Antarctic base. At that moment, one of their own, the Marine previously injured by one of the cables, began a horrifying transformation. Unseen nanobots had infiltrated his bloodstream during the skirmish, turning him against those he once stood alongside. Blaze watched in dismay as the Marine's veins turned ominously dark, his eyes shimmering with an eerie, unnatural glow. The bond and brotherhood they had forged through countless battles were dissolving, overtaken by a chilling alien malevolence. "Stand down, Marine," Blaze commanded, his voice resolute yet tinged with desperation, trying to reach the dwindling humanity within his comrade. Yet, the infected Marine only responded with a menacing snarl, his humanity fading as the mechanoids asserted their control. Zen's voice was a faint whisper, her face drained of color. "There's no reversing it. Once the nanobots fully integrate, they overwrite the host's neural pathways. He's not him anymore." He had become indistinguishable from the threats they were just fighting against. The sergeant, his weapon poised, yet his hands shaking, turned to Blaze, his eyes searching for direction. "Captain, what are we going to do?" Blaze's thoughts darted frantically for any alternative that might spare his team from making an irreversible decision. Yet the grim reality settled in. The infected Marine posed too great a risk to the team, the mission, and potentially to humanity itself. The nanobot's threat of spreading was a risk too formidable. With a heavy heart, Blaze resolved himself to the only course left. His voice laden with grief, he declared, "We have to do it. It's what he would have wanted, to protect the mission, to protect Earth." The confrontation was brief, yet intense. The infected Marine, his strength and speed unnaturally enhanced by the mechanoids, fought with a ferocity that bordered on superhuman. Despite this, the team's rigorous training and their unyielding will eventually overcame him. With a final respectful salute, Blaze ended the soldier with his sidearm, compassionately ended his suffering. Afterward, Blaze gathered his team, his eyes somber with the gravity of their loss. "He was one of us, a warrior, a friend. We'll carry his memory, and we'll complete this mission in his honor," he solemnly told them. Zen, her eyes lingering on where the fallen Marine lay, gave a small nod. "Let's make sure this was not in vain." The sergeant, the steadfast rock of the team, added his voice to the chorus. "He died a hero. We'll make sure the world knows it." This ordeal had deeply tested each of them, but it also solidified their resolve, bonding them closer through their shared sorrow. As they left the chamber, leaving behind the echo of their comrade, they moved forward with a renewed determination, their unity fortified by the ordeal they had endured together. As they delved deeper into the heart of the alien base, the shadows of their recent ordeal cast a long yet motivating pall over the team. Their recent loss was a poignant reminder of the stakes at play, binding them with a shared purpose as they faced the uncharted dangers ahead. Their journey was punctuated by numerous challenges, each testing not only their physical prowess, but also the core of their determination. In a critical moment while navigating a treacherous section of the base, a vast cavern, the ground unexpectedly gave way beneath them. The sudden collapse caught the team off guard, but the sergeant's quick reflexes proved crucial. He managed to grasp onto a protruding ledge, his other hand outstretched to the youngest Marine who was teetering on the edge of the newly formed abyss. "Got you! Don't let go!" the sergeant bellowed, his voice booming over the echoing chasm as his muscles tensed, holding fast against the weight of his teammate. The urgency and resolve in his shout underscored the perilous situation, yet also the unwavering support among the team members. Blaze, always quick to act, anchored himself firmly and reached out to assist in the rescue. Zen, despite her smaller stature, lent all her strength to the effort. Together, they pulled with concerted effort, gradually inching the young Marine back from the precipice of the abyss. However, their sighs of relief were abruptly cut short. From the shadows below, dark cables shot upward, snaking around the sergeant's leg with a force that seemed beyond natural. Faced with this new threat, the sergeant made a swift, selfless decision. "Let me go. Save yourselves," he commanded, his voice echoing through the cavern, resolute and leaving no room for debate. Blaze locked eyes with the sergeant, a silent communication of respect and pain passing between them. With a heart heavy with impending loss, Blaze gave a barely perceptible nod, acknowledging the grim necessity of the sergeant's sacrifice, yet inwardly reeling from the harsh toll it demanded. As the sergeant was dragged into the abyss, his final act was one of defiant courage. He pulled the pin on a grenade, releasing it among the encroaching tendrils. The resulting explosion echoed through the cavern, granting his team the crucial moments needed to escape the danger. In the eerie quiet that followed, the team regrouped, their faces etched with the weight of what had occurred. The sergeant's sacrifice had indeed saved them, but it was a costly victory, leaving an indelible void within their ranks and their hearts. Blaze, the ever-resolute captain, took a moment to steady himself before addressing his team. He knew the risks, as do we all. "We won't forget what he did," he said, his voice firm yet thick with emotion. Zen, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, nodded solemnly. The youngest Marine, the direct beneficiary of the sergeant's final act, remained silent, the magnitude of the sacrifice weighing heavily upon him. It was a burden he would now carry forward, a poignant reminder of the steep price of their mission and the cost of their survival. Pushing forward with a renewed sense of purpose, Blaze led his team deeper into the alien base. The loss of the sergeant had sharpened the stakes of their mission, reinforcing the critical importance of what they were fighting to achieve. They finally reached the heart of the alien base, where the reactor core, pulsating like a captured star, marked the culmination of their harrowing journey. Standing before it, Blaze and Zen realized their partnership was crucial now more than ever. The sublime technology of the reactor was tantalizingly within reach. "Zen, you're on tech," Blaze commanded, his eyes intently fixed on the glowing core. "I'll cover you. Let's make this quick." Zen nodded, and her hands began to move swiftly over the alien console, expertly interpreting its complex symbols. As she worked, the base around them started to shudder, a deep, ominous rumbling that suggested something was awakening. Suddenly, a cold synthetic voice echoed through the chamber, likely signaling the initiation of a self-destruct sequence. "We've got company!" the youngest Marine called out urgently, his weapon aimed at the entrance as mechanoids entered into the chamber. Blaze quickly positioned himself between Zen and the imminent threat, firing in controlled bursts to hold off the attackers. "Zen, how much time?" he shouted over the din of battle. "Working on it," Zen replied, her voice steady despite the intensity of the situation. She remained focused, her hands moving over the console as the air thrummed with the energy of the reactor and the sounds of gunfire. The battle intensified, with the mechanoids attacking relentlessly. Blaze and the remaining Marines executed their maneuvers with a precision that belied the desperation of their circumstances, each movement calculated and critical. Amid the chaos, Zen's voice finally cut through, triumphant yet strained from the effort. "Got it! Core's disengaged." Blaze spared a moment to glance at the core, now disconnected and dimming, though still radiating a faint but potent glow. "Time to leave," he called out, urgency clear in his voice. Their escape turned into a maelstrom of firefights and narrow evasions. Bullets flew and explosions echoed as they navigated the perilous terrain of the alien base in reverse, but this time the base had awoken from its ancient slumber. "Keep moving," Blaze commanded, his voice a beacon of resolve amidst the chaos. "We're almost out." As they neared the exit, the ground beneath them suddenly gave way, opening into a vast chasm. Blaze, always at the forefront, reacted instantly, leaping across the gap with Zen close on his heels. The youngest Marine, his energy waning but spirit still fierce, was the last to attempt the jump, his effort falling just short. Without a moment's hesitation, Blaze reached out, his grip firm and unyielding. "Not losing anyone else today," he grunted, pulling the Marine to safety. As they retreated, the chasm widened behind them, swallowing the remnants of the pursuing mechanoids in a dramatic collapse. Whether it was sheer luck or perhaps some unseen assistance from their fallen comrades on the hollow moon, it was a moment of miraculous escape they would never fully understand. As the base's self-destruct sequence reached its climax, the team emerged into the stark Antarctic daylight, the ground trembling ominously beneath their feet. They turned just in time to witness the entrance collapse, a dramatic plume of snow and debris marking the tomb of the alien stronghold. Exhausted, their bodies pushed to their very limits, Blaze, Zen, and the surviving Marines collapsed into the snow, relief washing over them. Nearby, the reactor core lay partially buried in the frost, its light dimming yet persistently glowing. "We did it," Zen breathed out, her voice a mix of relief and disbelief. "Yes," Blaze replied, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon. "But this is just the beginning. The core is the key to our future, but the knowledge of what lies out there, of what we've faced, that's a burden we'll carry." His words echoed a sobering truth, acknowledging the weight of their experiences and the challenges that still lay ahead. They had triumphed over the Antarctic base, emerging victorious but deeply aware that their journey was far from over. The reactor core they now possessed promised a new dawn for humanity. Yet the weight of the sacrifices made to secure it cast long shadows, a solemn reminder of the cost of their triumph. As they made their way back to the Aurora, Zen, glancing back at the collapsing base, felt a stirring mix of triumph and melancholy. "We've opened Pandora's box, haven't we? There's no going back now." Blaze responded with a nod, determination lighting his eyes. "We move forward. Together. We've faced the darkness and emerged into the light. Whatever comes next, we'll face it, just as we did today." Boarding the Aurora, with the reactor core secured within its hold, Blaze, Zen, and the Marines took one last look at the Antarctic wilderness, the silent witness to their ordeal. The journey back to civilization would be long, But they carried with them not just the hope for a new dawn, but also the resolve to face whatever challenges lay ahead. But those challenges will be Triverse stories for another time. If you've stuck with me up to this point, a heartfelt thank you. I'd also like to take a moment to remind you that my entire channel is dedicated to the Triverse and its enthralling Mechron mechanoid saga. While many of the stories stand alone, allowing you to dive in at any point, crafting these narratives takes about 4 or 5 days each, so your patience is greatly appreciated. If you find yourself enjoying what you see, consider exploring more of my videos. Each one, in its own unique way, weaves together more of the overarching story I'm telling.